Okay, here you see a lot of the wood that I have ready to go for turning, and you'll see that I've got everything from a small piece like this, which is about, well, 6-7 inches, to even larger sizes like this one right here, which is going to be about 11 inches, 10 to 11 inches. And both of those will all fit. In fact, all of these that you see here will fit on my lathe just fine. And I don't really need to have a bigger lathe than that, so don't overthink it. So you have to kind of figure out what it is that you're going to want to be turning. If you're not turning table legs and baseball bats and so forth, you really don't need something that's 20 to 30 inches long. You just need something that's about, you know, 1.5 feet or so long for depth purposes, so that you can turn a pretty good size, like a vase or something like that. Now, down here we have chucks. We have 3-inch chucks, another 3-inch chuck, and a 4-inch chuck. And chucks come in all different sizes. You can get 5 and 6-inch chucks. And they usually come with 2 different gearing mechanisms. One is a square. I kind of like this because it's a lot easier. It's very solid connection and easy to turn in and out. I kind of prefer that to these, because you have to get that gear just right, but it does work also. So either one of those works really good. That's not the biggest thing. The bigger thing is make sure you have a 4-jaw chuck. And the 4 jaws, as you can see right here, 4 jaws, what it is this is a solid piece of metal that they then cut with a very thin kerf on a saw. And when you put these back together, they are pretty much perfectly circled. You have to, if you have open them just that much, you'll have a perfect circle for your tenon holding. Some of these have ribs on the outside and on the inside for holding, and honestly, that's the thickness of, or that's how big the tenon needs to be, just enough for those little ridges to hold, which is about a 1/4 inch or so. You can get different configurations here. There's stepped ones. There's all sorts of ones on the market you can see, and I don't want to overcomplicate that, but basically easy to change out if you want to, but some of these have different setups for their set screws. These here are different than this. So any of the faceplate or any of the accessories that you get for this gouge need to match the gouge that you're having. So if you have a Nova, or if you have a Bauer, or if you have One Way, or any of the other ones, make sure that they are interchangeable. Okay, but other than that, not a problem. Now you have different kinds of faceplates. This faceplate, which is really handy, has a little screw on it, so you can make sure if you have something centered, put that right on the wood, right on the center, get that in there, and then screw down the screws. As you can see right here, I've got a dot in the center, and I'd put that right into the center, screw that down so it's holding. That way I'm sure that this faceplate is right in the center of the wood, and I'm not going to have to take a lot of extra off. That's one really good one. Also, you notice it has 8 holes around it, so I can put 8 screws in really solid. This one is a 6-hole faceplate, and it's fine too. This is a larger faceplate, and they come in all sizes. I've got 2-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch faceplates, all different kinds. This one has a little different screw-in pattern. What I like about this one, and this one especially, is it has a flat spot here, and so if you have to use a wrench to get it off, you can put your pliers or whatever on here and turn it, and it'll come right off. This one, not so much. You have to actually dig into the metal a little bit in order to do that. So one feature you might want to look at too. But faceplates can be very inexpensive, and they're usually very well made. Make sure they are nice and flat surfaced. Also, one other thing to notice: there's 2 sizes, generally speaking, in the lathe world for the attachment. And I'm going to show you here on this one. Just give me 1 second. Okay, this right here is generally listed as a 1-inch by 8, which means that it's got 8 threads to 1 inch. And it's 1 inch wide, and that's your standard for most of these. They go right on and fit. But there are some that are 1 1/4 inch, and those are, generally speaking, they're on the bigger machines or on the 220 system machines. But make sure that when you're getting a chuck or a faceplate or anything else, that it matches the taper and thread size that you have on yours. So again, we had talked about the Morse 1 and Morse 2 tapers on the inside. You're also going to have to worry about, is it a 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch or whatever on the outside. Like I said, about 85% of the time you're going to get this with the 1/8, and it goes on very easily and comes off very easily. Great. Basically, you just want a good tailstock and headstock that are lined up. You want a rest that is actually movable and controllable and adjustable. Do understand that these rests are also different sizes. This is a true 1 inch. Many of them are in millimeters and could be slightly less or more. I've seen everything from 3/4 of an inch on up. So make sure that if you're going to get other rests to go with your tool rest later on, make sure it matches up. And make sure it has a good tight fit so this doesn't move when you're turning, because you don't want this to start loosening up and dropping or whatever and getting your gouge in a bad position, because sometimes you don't notice it right away, and that can put you in a real dangerous position when you're turning. So hopefully this covers a lot of questions that you may have had. I know it's gone kind of long. I usually do 2-minute videos, but I wanted to make sure that we covered all the real basic stuff that you need to know when you're going out and looking at a lathe. One other thing I would say, I guess, is if you're looking at the stand, make sure it's a solid stand, not a wimpy stand. If you're going to put this on a stand, or if it comes with a stand, make sure it has a good, solid foundation and can handle the vibration, because these things, when they're even just about a 1/2 inch off, can vibrate like crazy, and it can actually walk your 200, 300 pound lathe across the floor, just like a washing machine that's out of balance. So be sure that you get a stand that's good enough to handle this heavy piece of equipment. And thank you, and I hope you all will subscribe and look at our other videos.